Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. Today is July 14th, and I'm Michael Workman here with this week's resin market moves, bringing you what the plastic processor needs to know now in order to navigate resin costs with confidence. Let's start in polyethylene. Spot prices rose 1.50 per pound, mostly related to global freight fears. But the bigger news is that both large indices here in North America that report on contract prices settled up 3 cents a pound for the month of June. Now let's dig into that. In May, there was a 358 million pound draw, which at that point means we were still up 541 million pounds from a year-over-year standpoint. Preliminary June numbers show a further draw of 184 million pounds. But that still puts the overall market long by over 250 million pounds from a year-over-year standpoint. And with Dow bringing on additional polyethylene capacity at their Freeport, Texas plant, supply is expected to remain long. Continue to push back on further supplier hike attempts, which there are for the month of July. We've seen 5 cents, we've seen 7 cents on the table. Fundamentals continue to not support them unless there's an event that happens here in the next few weeks or months with hurricane season. Polypropylene saw its first spot increase since March, up 2 cents a pound due to outages and volatility in feedstocks. Still, there are producers out with July margin expansion efforts that just aren't backed by inventory data. So continue to push back in polypropylene. PET is tightening. Feedstock costs are climbing. We've talked about the Alpec shutdown, and that continues to remain in place. And it is summer season as bottle grade demand remains strong. Get out in front of your Q3 PET needs. We're still recommending you do that. PVC, again, inventories fell by 40 million pounds in May. With energy and chlorine prices rising and Q3 construction pressure building, the window is now to lock in your July prices. Remember to include freight escalation protection in your contracts as you're able. Polystyrene saw a somewhat surprising increase, 2 cents a pound. Benzene prices have been stronger, and producers are out with an additional 5 cents a pound increase. There's just not much support for that. Continue to push back aggressively. There's still quite a lot of polystyrene in the market. PC, polycarbonate, and ABS remain flat. Polycarbonate producers have unsupported increases that are not sticking out in the market, and imports are keeping the ABS market relatively stable. In nylon, demand continues to remain soft. Pricing is flat, and feedstocks are relatively calm. Delay any longer-term deals that you are working on there and renegotiate from a position of supply strength after we get through the hurricane season. The bottom line, continue to negotiate with data. Act now in PET and PVC to hedge any Q3 risk that's on the horizon. Leverage flat pricing in the mid-market resins and benchmark your contracts. We're going to say this every week, folks. Stay on top of it. Half a penny a pound might not sound like a lot, but on 10 million pounds, that's still 50 grand saved, and it all adds up. Book a demo today at ResinSmart.ai. Learn how we're helping buyers simplify their resin procurement process, save money, and gain leverage. You can look for more information there in the comments. All right, everybody, have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week. Be safe out there.